Throw
he
me
did it again.
again.
He's like,
Do it
"Wee!"
again.
in the air. He's
Land on
just
the bed.
he's a very sweet boy. And he's probably, like, the best first cat I probably could have ever gotten. He was also a stray. Every single one of our cats was a stray.
Hmm. Yeah, I keep seeing nice. I keep seeing the on my camera because I have a camera in my driveway, and I keep seeing like a black cat walking by every so often. I'm like, huh, must be like a neighbor's cat or something.
Yeah. Jack was a stray that my sister found, and he was my cat. Uh, like, a week after having him, my little sister, heard a kitten and decided to steal it off the streets, and she came home with it. And that's Smokey. He runs the house, except for my room. My room is off limits. He comes in here, but if he tries to start shit, I just swat him on the butt and um, I'd swat him and he'd just leave. And then what was it? I want to say last year or 2 years ago. I think it was honestly, it was 2 years ago because I was at my grandma's house taking care of her after she got out of the hospital. My mom texted me and goes, "We just had a mom give birth in the backyard." So, that's how we ended up getting the next two, which is Patches and Zero. Obviously, you guys know Zero. I show him off all the time. They're brother and sister. Zero loves his sister, Patches. Patches could not give two shits about Zero. She hisses and swats at him every time she sees him. Um, and yeah, our last one that we have, her name is Libby. We took her from my sister who was neglecting her. I just wasn't able to take care of her anymore. So we had 5, and then Jack passed. Now we have 4.
Appreciate it still. Yeah, that's how I got Apollo, because he was being neglected and he was a year old. They kept him in the kennel all the time. They fed him in the kennel. He went to the bathroom in the kennel, everything. They just washed it up, put him right back in. So
What is wrong with those people?
I have no idea. But they wanted to. They're like, yeah, well, whatever. The girl was dating at the time. We were up in Indiana, and they're like, yeah, blah blah. This dog is like, he's a cute dog. Like, he's not aggressive at all. So she was talking to them in another room. I took the dog out and put it in the truck, and I messaged her, like, get in the fucking truck.
Hell yeah.
Yep. I was
Just like, you are mine now.
Yep. And he's been mine for 5-6 years now.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I have
Yep.
I've had these twin cats for a while.
I messaged them and told them that, look, I took the dog. Because y'all were just letting him sitting there, and they just like, okay.
That is
okay. Okay. Like you can tell obviously they don't care.
That is animal abuse. That is straight up animal abuse. And I do not neglect keeping them in a crate 24/7, things like that. I do not condone, I do not stand for, and I will kill a motherfucker.
Not.
And no, Drift, I don't think about Adam Rose and Rosebud. I don't wake up out of a cold sweat thinking about Adam Rose and Rosebuds. I thought that was the most horrible planned thing ever in any kind of entertainment. But yeah. Y'all ready to get started? All right. Welcome everybody to Join the Raid podcast. You have, as always, Mr. Savage, the suave, dapper, eloquent man himself. And of course, our guest, as always a pleasure, Miss Lana or Star.
Hello.
Yeah. And of course myself, Terry, or Raider. I don't care what you call me. Pick one. But yeah, tonight we're going to talk about the evolution of friendship in the digital age. So just to do that, we're going to start with how we used to make friends in the first place. So, yeah. What does friendship look like to you today?
It could be two different things, really. Today, I think it's a lot more digital and over the internet kind of friendships more than intimate friend or like physical friendships, people you interact with on a daily basis or someone you see, even not even a daily basis, but like, I only have 2 friends left from high school. Those are the only 2 people I've kept contact with, and that's because they were my best friends, close people I grew up with. So I see them every so often, maybe like if I'm lucky once a month. That's if I'm lucky. But today I think it's like, I know a lot of people online, but I've besides Satan, I don't think I have actually met anyone from online. So it'd be nice to meet, like, you guys eventually at some point. It'd be pretty cool. But yeah, today's friendships are a lot different from, like, the 90s. I grew up in that kind of era, so that's more outdoor activities. So, you hang out with kids in the neighborhood, you get to know them, play, manhunt or hide and seek, or, even hockey or baseball, whatever, stuff like that. So I think it's different today, a lot different today than it is 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
I agree. For me, I was always outside. I was always doing something.
Mm-hmm.
Friends, like I said previously before in multiple different episodes, like we've gotten a little bit of trouble, made bombs, things like that. We, throw fireworks at each other.
Yep.
The movie Gladiator and Braveheart, we watched that. So of course we was like, yeah, let's do that. Ended up in the hospital, stitches, broken bones, things like that.
Yeah.
But those are memories that you can't get back.
Yep.
But
Okay.
it was a good time. It was a good time. And now I have two friends from high school that I still keep up with. It was three, but he's not with us anymore. That I keep up with high school. They're doing well. We talk almost every week and stuff like
That's good.
that. So we plan up we plan up to meet, stuff like that, and it's not bad. Then go into the military, make good friends there, and when you PCS or get out, you talk to them still every once in a while, but you don't see them a lot. It makes you miss it. And
Mm-hmm.
now, with Twitch, Discord, and everything like that, I have friends that way now. So it's a different change. It's a different change, and it's not bad, but because now it's just a convenience thing. It's so convenient now to keep in touch with people.
It definitely is. It's pretty nice, actually. Someone that you knew in high school, they live like across the country or something. You can't really interact with them, but now today you can with the internet. Facebook or you know, gaming, whatever, Discord.
For me, it's different. I don't know how weird this is gonna make me sound. Like I have different levels when it comes to friendship. Like it's as bad as this sound, it's almost like a scoring system on like
Mm.
how I group like who are like associates and like then who are like starter friends, who are my
Mm.
more closer friends, and then it builds up to like people that I consider my best friends. Like these people know everything there is to know about me. They're the ones that I can go to when something's going on in my life. Like they're the first people I think of. They're like family to me. Um Growing up, I made friends how most people did back then. You went out, you played. That's how you met your friends. There was no texting and Discord and like I grew up in a log cabin with 7 acres. So we went out, we rode our bikes in the woods, we we did stupid shit. Um but it was also really hard because when I was in 4th grade I moved. So going from a log cabin with 7 acres in a school with like my class had like 300 plus kids to then moving to a small town where I had like 50, 60 kids in my graduating class.
Mm.
It's really hard to start over because in 4th grade, friendships are already formed, groups are already formed, and trying to navigate that was really hard for me. And I met a lot of people, which at the time, I considered friends and my best friends, but it led to a lot of trauma. Um, I don't speak to anybody that I went to high school with. I mean, I've had some people reach out asking me questions now and then. I had somebody after I joined the Marines message me. I had two different people. One asked me for advice for joining the Air Force, and the other had advice for asked me for advice for joining the Navy. Uh,
Mm.
I haven't talked to any of them since.
Okay.
Uh, so, but I've met people through like my best friend Cass. I met her through my sister. We are very close, very tight. I think of her and her children as family. Um, my other best friend Mike, I met him through my dad. And I see those like they live close to me, so I see them as often as possible. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I don't value relationships and friendships that have kept going because of the advantage of social media through Discord or Snapchat or texting. I've been able to reconnect with Terry. We haven't talked in a couple of years, and I didn't realize how much I missed that friendship that we had until we reconnected. I've been able to keep in contact with people that I was in the Marines with through social media, which if we didn't have it, I probably wouldn't ever speak to them again because they live all over the country. So I think there's definitely a lot of pros, but there's also a lot of cons to the evolution of it nowadays with social media.
So for Fable, I have few IRL friends. I don't leave the house much. I understand that. I do understand that. Kind of a hermit, you know. Actually, I think most of us are kind of hermits.
Hermit.
Because, I think the one that gets out the most out of us is Savage. That's the funny thing about it. Yeah, I used to always go out and do things just on a whim, but my life has gotten stable now, and it's one of those things I'm more comfortable being at home.
Yeah.
If you ask anybody that knew me 5-6 years ago, that was not me at all. I see that's a smart ass look. I know. I know.
I get that. I mean, for me, it's like I like to go out and hang out with people, but I have to be invited. Otherwise, I'm not the person to. I'm never the person to instigate or start the let's hang out kind of thing, or even with conversations. I like having conversations. I can go on for hours, but I can't be the starter of the conversation. I'm the person that likes to engage with the conversations when it starts. Someone else starts, just like you do with a question, or we're just, hey, this came up, and then I'll go on and a talk about it. I can do that for hours, but I can never just be like, hey, you want to go out and go to the bar or something? Nah, I'm more of the person that can either be in the house all day, play video games all day, or go to work and then just come back and relax. Or if someone's like, hey, you want to go see a movie? I'm like, yeah, sure.
I think it's also with age, we just become not, I guess, more sure of ourselves in a way. We start to become more one with ourselves. We get more into our personality. We know what kind of friends we like, we don't like. We know what we like to do, what we don't. We don't really, I know for us specifically, don't put on a facade for people. So we are who we are, accept it or don't accept it. And we're also in the mindset of I'm gonna go out if I want to go out, but it's not necessarily oh my god, if I don't go to this party, I'm gonna die type of stuff anymore. We've grown out of that and matured.
Vasa, yes, it is. It's okay. We're still streaming, so if you have questions, anything like that, say it. Statements.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna pull up what Fable put on the stream.
Oh,
I don't
cool.
like making plans. If I get invited to go do something in advance, I'm cool with it. Then the day of I'm kind of meh, don't want to leave the house. I get that. I do understand that. Like Easter, I was told the day before, it's like, hey, you're going here. I was like, no, I'm not. I went anyways, and I was like, okay, cool. Had a great fucking time. Reconnected with one of my friends I was with in the military, and it was good. It was a good time. I made myself do it, so I was forced to do it. So sometimes it's a good thing to get out of that comfort zone of I don't want to do this, because it opens up a lot, of opens up a lot of options, and you get to actually relax and be yourself a little bit. Instead of just sitting at home and just doing the same thing every single day. Anybody else? What's up, Mistra? How you doing? What about you, Lana?
With what? Making plans and then or getting invited?
Yeah.
I don't get invited a lot. Not to people close to me. Me and my best friend Cass, I haven't seen her since October. Not because we don't want to see each other, life just gets in the way. But when we make plans, I go and I see her because she is my best friend, and she's my ride or die. And when I go there, there's no expectations of what we're gonna do. me and her both know we could stay in the house the entire time and be hermits, and we're both fucking happy with it. We could go out drinking, it would be fine. We could go hang out with the kids, no problem. Back before I got home from the military, I always was out and about. I was out as much as possible. I've mellowed out a lot from that, but I've also gotten older, gotten wiser, so it's more of a, if I get invited to things, I contemplate it, I sit on it, I think about it. Do I want to go see this person? Do I not? One of my friends from the Marines, Willie, invited me to go to Vegas. I went with him. He's a great dude, and I had a blast. Some people invite me to things, and I'm not really in the mood for it. But I also know that it is okay to, like, say yes and then be like, I'm not feeling it, and being like, I just messaged the person, not down for it anymore, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine too. It's completely fine. You know, sometimes you're just not in the mood, and it's better to tell them up front than to just pretend. Like because they'll definitely show up in your mood. So if you go out and then you go to the thing, and then you're just sitting there, you're like, and then it's like your wording, your phrases, your expressions is gonna show that you're not really interested, and then they're gonna be like, "Is it me? Did I do something wrong?" That kind of thing. So it's like it's better to just.
There's that, or they start badgering you, and they're like,
that's
"Why aren't you in a good mood?" And like, we are supposed to have fun, and you're like, "I'm just not in a mood."
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. I do get that. But sometimes if you push through that because you're not in a good mood, you might become in a great mood from just the experience.
I also do think it depends on the people who invite you.
That's true.
Because like, if it's Cass who invited me out and I'm in a bad mood, I'm still gonna go because I know that my mood will brighten with her. But if it's like a friend that I don't really speak to, and it's not like somebody that I'm like super, super close with, but I'm in a bad mood, I'm like, I know this person's not really gonna be able to bring me out of that mood, so I'm not gonna like ruin their time by being a Debbie Downer. The fuck? Why are you giggling?
Oh, no.
I'm almost done. I like taking my time with the big Red Bulls because then it lasts me a very long time.
Yeah, you're all good. If y'all know, Fabled asked in the chat, says I know how long you gonna sip that big ass Red Bull star. So yeah.
As long as I can make it last.
Thanks, JR. I appreciate it. But yeah, as long as you make it last, okay.
Well, Red Bulls make me sleepy because caffeine works different for me. I know it like energizes some people, but it makes me sleepy. So when I do the big ones, I like to try and make them last as long. So like the sleepiness hits me way later in the day.
Interesting.
I'm talking like 1, 2 in the morning it hits me.
Yeah. So you said something about you gauge your friends.
Yeah.
Okay. I do the same thing.
I think everyone kind of does in a certain perspective, you know.
Yeah, but most people will not admit that out loud.
Oh, most of course.
I don't give a fuck. Most people I know, I tell them like.
Yeah. Well, it's like you said, it was like kind of like, you know, the time you spend with this person. If you're actually like, yeah, like you can hang out with them, but are you that like intimate with that person? You know, like not even like a loving way, just like, you know, can you connect?
Yeah, how comfortable I am with sharing like my deepest, darkest secrets.
Yeah,
like can I show you my flaws and you still like me?
Yeah, that, and like, you know, it's like some people, you know, you'll know what kind of sense of humor they have, so you know, like, oh, this person is gonna love my dark sense of humor, and a lot of people might be your friend, but they're like, oh, I didn't know about you, like that about you, kind of thing. So it's all about that time and if you can connect with them, really. Because even I have, like, you know, people I know, like, for example, Lana, I just met you, really, and so we're starting to become like friends, you know, and we're mutual through Raider, and so we're getting to know each other, and it's cool. But I'm not like, yeah, you're like my best friend right now, because it's like I just met you, so that doesn't make sense. And I've had people just like say that in streams to not only just to me, but to like other people. I've seen them be like, oh, we both like this one mutual thing, we're gonna be the best of friends. I'm like, no, that's not how it works. Like, you don't just become best of friends like right off the rip. It's like it's a build.
It is a build, but Fabled came into my chat today and we were talking about spooky stuff. And because of that, I recognize like this is somebody that with like time and effort could be a
Yeah.
really good friend of mine. But
Of
it
course,
also
yeah.
depends on like who's putting in the effort and are you both working on it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Would you say, well, we know, Lana, you already said you have best friends. Would you say you have a best friend, Savage?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I
Okay.
have I have best friends in IRL, like the two friends I hang out with are pretty much hand in hand as like a tied for like best friends. Um and one of them I'm gonna be actually asking them to be like, my best man for my, wedding and all that. But it's like uh I met both of them the same year in high school, actually middle school, and we've been close friends ever since. Like I kind of was like the middleman that like put us all together. Because I met my friend Robbie, who was like the loner kid in class. He was in the corner of the room by himself, and then everyone else was in the other side. And I was like, I want to go talk to that kid that's by himself. And he looked at me and was like, don't sit next to me. And I was like, hi, how's it going? Like I forced my way into his life essentially, but we connected. There was a bless you. There was like a
Thank you.
I don't know. There was something that like drew me to him instead of like everyone else in the room. And I kind of guess maybe because he was like a loner, I kind of felt that way. I know I was a new kid in the school. I just moved to a different state, so it's like okay, kind of felt that vibe with him. And then my other friend Troy, we met like the same year, but like later down the line, and then we just hanged out together. And when it comes to streaming, yeah, I have some good close friends, like me and One Love have grown a lot together. Like, me and him have bonded stream hand in hand. Like I've been there for every day since he's been streaming. I'm always there, and he's the same thing with me, and we're always hanging out. Even if it's not like in Discord, we're always hanging out in like different games or whatever. So it's cool.
Okay. That's good. That's good. One Love has been a day one. Um, he he's a good person, good energy, good vibe, always caring about everybody.
Yep.
And, always want nothing but success for him, which is a great thing.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah, that's legit him too. He's not putting on like a show. That's just him.
You want me to tell you the truth, Fable? Because Fable asks, what category do I fall in, Sweet Cheeks? So for me, you're an associate. That's what category you are in for me. Because I don't know much of a lot. I don't know a lot about you. We haven't had many conversations, anything like that, that actually develop into that friendship like realm. So that's how it is. You're a good time. You're a good person to hang out with. You're funny. I'm not bored talking to you. So that's honestly a plus because 90% of the people I talk to, I get bored and I do like God knows everything else while you're talking.
I think we should also preface that just because somebody might be in a category of like associate or friendship and they don't reach that higher level doesn't mean that they don't add value to your life or that their role in your life is any less significant. They might not impact you as much, but having that wide range of people in your life can be beneficial.
That's
and
true.
just because you're not as close to somebody as like, again, with Fabled, I just met her. I'm not as close to her as I am with Terry or my best friend Cass. Doesn't mean that I didn't enjoy our conversation, and I'm sure I will enjoy more conversations with her. It's just they're just different categories.
Yeah. And then, like you said, it doesn't mean we don't appreciate hanging out and getting the time with them because time is a valuable thing. And we only have so much time on this planet. So it is nice to be able to hang out with this person. And like you said, over time, you can build that bond with that person and have more time spent with them. Like I've had plenty of people that I knew for quite some time, and only recently I've actually grown closer to them because they had many, many like aspects that like connected with me well. Like I'm a gaming nerd. I love a bunch of different kinds of games, and so are like example of Solo Sky. I've known him since I've been on Twitch for the longest time, 2-3 years, and I knew about him and I hung out with him occasionally, but over like the last year, I think especially, I've grown with him a lot. So it's cool, you know.
That's awesome. I let's see here. Fabled. No, it's a totally fair category. Okay. Like Raider said, I spent minimal time with him, and I just had my first interaction with Star today. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And you don't get butthurt about it. You know, that's the thing about it.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
tells me that you're gonna stick around a little bit.
Yeah, that's definitely a good thing. Is like when you talk with somebody and they don't get butthurt for not being like your bestest friend in the whole wide world, and they're like, yeah, no, like I just met you, and they're really cool about it. That's when you're like, yeah, that's somebody that is going to be a good person in my life.
Yeah.
They're going to benefit me some way.
Good, good, good. You don't get butthurt easy? That's good. That's really good. Fluffy Trucker, let me go back up to your message. Easy, pup.
Oh, bless you, puppies.
Yeah, he said we've covered this, but he said I like it as I look at it as they are my actual friend or just an associate, like who I can chat with or hang out with. You just want to be on the screen, huh?
Oh, he's a puppy. He's so cute.
It's Apollo, so
He's a puppy.
Yeah. But yeah, if y'all have questions, statements, anything like that, write them in the chat. We'll read them out. You know, we answer everything that we can. But yeah, so for me, my categories range a little bit differently than y'all's. There we go. So I can think. Range a little bit differently from y'all. I go from stranger, which I'll talk to a stranger. Doesn't bother me. Associate, somebody I see every once in a while, hang out with, everything like that. There's people in the Discord that I consider like strangers still, and I see them multiple times a week. Then I'd say there's that stage in between associate and friend, because when you get in that range of starting to learn things about them, things that like set them apart from everybody else. Then they get a friend, and if you ask Satan, she can tell you I don't have a best friend, but I do. I do. But that's a 20-year friendship, and it's been nothing but, you know, true friendship, not wanting anything from the other one. You know, reach out, talk, vent, you know, complain, and, you know, asking their perspectives that because you trust them. And you trust they're going to give you the right advice. But, you know, you just need to, I tell everybody, you need to find your own spot. Find where you fit in and everything like that. Also, my roommate's one of my other closest friends, 14 to 15 years of friendship from the military to now. You'll see his head right there. So, yeah, he's playing his game, Expedition 33. But, yeah, he's one of those things I'm grateful for the people that are in my life right now. You know, I've lost many friends over the years. From, you know, personal differences to personal growth and just some flat out bullshit sometimes.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna say it like this. Lana was one of them. For a while. But I reached out and said, hey, how you doing?
It's honestly what happened.
And reconnected slowly but surely, and then now it's been a good positive. So nice. I stick with it.
I try to be.
You try to be?
I try to be.
Okay, Big J. Let's get this so the chat stops moving. Stop moving. I know not everyone has my best interest at heart, but I just try to keep it moving nowadays. It isn't worth the energy or stress to when people leave and switch up how they treat you. It's like, oh, I get that. I do. Mm-hmm. That's when you gotta know yourself, because a lot of people will get hung up on that because they're so used to them being there. My first run at streaming was 3 years ago, you know, and had the support, had friends, everything like that. Knew most of them personally, and got affiliate. Started streaming some more. Started noticing nobody wanted to show up or talk or anything like that. Then I realized, oh, they're over here doing this. I didn't get butthurt about it. I was like, cool, people have lives. So things happen. I just kept moving.
I think it's also just being able to see the signs,
Yeah.
being able to recognize it, and then adjust how you are accordingly. But also making sure that the people who don't have your best interests at heart, giving them distance so that it doesn't become something that it shouldn't,
Yeah. And
because it could lead to trauma.
yeah. Yep. And that's something like Fable had said earlier, right after Big J. It was like that's the downfall to some online friendships. Because that's true, you know. When it's like a personal, like IRL friend, when you typically aren't friends anymore, you know the reason for it, and it's usually in a misunderstanding or you just grew apart. It could be small minor things or not even that. Just that's just how life is sometimes. But where it's like online friendships, they're even more like fragile, I guess would be a word for it. It could be pretty broken on a whim. Like instantly, someone could just disappear. And it might not even be you. It could be just them doing something in life, or it could be something where they weren't really, like you said, don't have your best interests at heart. It could have been like they would not like they were using you, but they kind of were filling the void with someone, and at that moment, that was just you. And then when they show their true colors, you'll see it show up, and then they'll just throw you to the side like a used toy and just move on. And it sucks, but at least you'll know now from that you don't have to waste your time or energy on them and move on.
Yeah, I I agree with that. And this is something Fluffy Trucker has said to me for many years. Some people are only meant to be in your life for a few seasons, and you can't get too hung up anymore if they leave. You know. Oh shit, timer. There we go. Let's do that. There we go. But yeah, this is true. Some people are seasonal friends. They're meant for a few little bit of times and specs in your life, but they weren't meant there for the long run. I completely agree with that. I agree with that for myself, for a lot of people, because as many people know, I try to help everybody I fucking can. Like, I don't plan to be there forever because honestly, that's not feasible a lot of the time.
Mm.
But I'm still going to be there in the background saying, if you ever need anything, just reach out.
Yeah.
I'm a huge believer in fate. I believe that people are meant to come in our lives for a reason. Some it's to teach us a lesson. Some it's to stay for the long run. Some it's just to say hi and bye. But I believe every person that I've met in my life, no matter what it brought me, whether it was good or bad, it has made me grow as a person. And I'm a better version of myself now than I was before I met that person. Do I wish some of the bad stuff didn't happen? Yes, but I wouldn't be where I am right now in my life without that. Not saying it's acceptable, but it is a factor in my life that I live.
I get that. Fluffy Truck. You want me to do this right now? Okay. Where do I stand on your associate friends level? Honestly, you're a really close friend to me. We started out as I really hated you. Not gonna lie, there's a reason for that.
I know the reason.
Yeah. But yeah, some shady shit happened. He acknowledged it, which is as a man, so just kudos to him. I handled that in a way I used to, which I don't do that anymore. I handle it super aggressively, violently, and it's one of those things that I'm not proud of. But at the same time, is when I go back in time, think about it, it kind of helped you grow up too, a little bit, because you learned a lesson in that standpoint. But it's not a bad thing. Met him again at a bar, and he was scared shitless because he's like, last time you said you would kill me. And I was like, yeah, but I grew up. I got over it. It's like, you want a beer? Let's talk. Let's figure it out. Deer in the headlight face. Yeah, you did have a deer in the headlight face. And I remember Scott because he knew the story too. Only thing Scott did was just like, I'm not touching it. If it happens, it happens. And then, we got along and talked and everything like that. You instantly got sobered up because of that. Well, man, it's not my fault, you know. So yeah,
You
but yeah,
sweated all the alcohol.
but yeah, I did. I'm proud of how I overcame that angry side of me. Why do you feel like a whole slacker trap? Oh, because you didn't follow. You haven't been following. I don't care, man. You're all good. But yeah, anybody have what? What's the
You
face?
made a whole big deal when I didn't follow you right away. You made a whole big deal out of it.
Yeah, but you're my friend. He's an associate. There's a difference.
There's some things that are like, requirements for being a friend. You gotta follow the Twitch,
Yeah.
right?
I was
I
following
did.
your Twitch weeks
I-
before. Yeah.
You've been streaming like 3 weeks.
Yeah. But when I found out you had a Twitch, I followed it instantly. Yeah. For in that case, whoever did go live.
That's funny.
Yeah. And Trap, we're doing good. Or let me speak for myself. I'm doing good. We can't speak for everybody else.
But yeah, no.
I'm
It's good.
doing good. I had a really good stream earlier today. A lot of people came in. A lot of old people, not old, but like people that have been in my streams before. I got some new people. We had a lot of fun.
Just imagining the people with a cane. It's been 23 years.
That's really funny because I brought up my Beat a Bitch cane in stream.
You did. Damn, I'm just associate. Yeah, you've been an associate. You've been there. At least you're there. Like there's lower
You
levels.
could be a stranger.
You could be on the stranger end of it. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, your Beat a Bitch cane. Let's talk about that.
Oh, okay.
Do you have it?
It's downstairs. Do you want me to grab it?
Go get it.
Okay.
Go get it. I want to see this. Because we talked about Fight Club earlier.
There's a whole story behind this. I will tell everybody.
We're going to hear the story. But yeah,
right.
I said something about starting Fight Club in her stream earlier, and she's like, am I invited to this Fight Club? I was like, yeah, you're the main attraction. She's like, can I bring weapons? I was like, you can bring whatever you want. And the first thing she said is, I'm going to grab my Beat a Bitch cane. And Sky, honestly, you're in that associate field too. You're not lower. You're not lower than that, so that's a good thing. We're getting closer because we've been hanging out every once in a while, learning different things about each other, ins and outs. So yeah, you're on the right road for friendship. Just saying, you're on the right road. It's not a competition, anybody. Just letting y'all know that it's not a competition. If it was a competition, a lot of you would be losing though.
Kitty.
Old Zero.
He came to the door because I am back.
At least she didn't smack him with the door.
No.
Mistra, where do you stand? Mistra, you're on the friend level right now. Here, let's put it up here.
Dead last.
You're on the friend level right now. Not best friend, because to me, best friends need to have that
length.
That length of time. That time frame. But yeah, you're a friend. Trap. You're not dead last, Trap. You're not dead last. I'm letting you know that right now. You're not dead last. There are people that know me for years that are fucking way lower than you.
You have this cane.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have a story for this cane.
You have a story for this cane?
Yes. So for those of you who don't know, I was a Marine. And I had microfractures. Well, I still have them. I have them in my shins. I have them in 2 separate places in both of my shins.
Are they microfractures or are they stress fractures?
Microfractures.
Okay.
Yeah, we did x-rays. Sorry, you can't play with that. I've gotten the x-rays done and all the testing, and they're microfractures. They're in the front and they're on the side of the bones. On the inside of both. So they like mirror each other. So I've been on and off crutches when I was in for about my first year or so. I got transferred to Wounded Warrior for that and other mental reasons. And there was a cane there. And they let me use it because I was on all kinds of different chits for like what I could and couldn't do, what I could wear and couldn't wear. So they gave me this cane. I've had this cane for 4 years now. 5 years. 5 years. 4 or 5 years. About that. I bought myself another cane when I was in. I actually currently have 4 canes. I don't need to use them as much. It is only when I overexert myself too much and my legs start hurting that I use them. But this is my beta bitch cane because it's not one I bought, so I don't feel bad if I break it. And because I had 2 canes, I was always able to be like, oh, if somebody fucks with me, I just take this cane. And my friend's like, is this your beta bitch cane? I was like, fuck yeah. So that is the nickname for it. So this is it. And I still have not broken it. This is the one cane I'm like, I can just whack somebody with it until it breaks, and then I can stab them.
Quick, get the bab. The be a bitch.
Well, so
That gives me an idea for something for you for Christmas now.
I nicknamed it my BBC.
I was gonna say the BAB, but all right.
Well, because it's beta. It's not beat A, it's beta. So it's beta. So beat, beta, bitch, B, cane, beta, bitch, cane.
We're gonna need you not to use that abbreviation ever again. Okay. Okay.
It's so funny when I tell people because they get so shocked, and I'm like, I'm talking about my beta bitch cane.
Yeah. I'm renaming you BBC in the Discord.
But yeah, so that's my beta bitch cane. I have my red cane, which is for my walking. I have a wooden cane that's taller for my hikes. And then I have one that I got for cosplay.
Okay, nice.
And those are all my canes.
What is the cosplay one?
I can go grab that if you'd like.
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I like the show and tell.
Yeah. Savage, you notice it yet?
I see that.
Jesus.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's so fantastic. But yeah, anything with that? Jimmy's gonna have so many TILs. Yes, she is. She is. I still have 30 written down, ready to go for every time she streams. So that way, her reactions just get recorded and never forgotten. But yeah, Savage. What's new?
What's new? What is new besides the long day at work with 11-hour shift?
That's that, man. You know, I actually slept for once, so
that's new. And that's a topic, right there. Raider got sleep. What did you sleep about? That's the real question. Did you dream about anything, I should say? Do you remember your dreams? Should be the question.
Most of the time, I do remember my dreams. Last night, didn't dream. I just knocked out, woke up, was like, oh, I fell asleep. Oh, I actually fell asleep. Look at the time, I was like, I slept for 10 hours. So I guess catching up on sleep was a good thing for me.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
So I also did grab my wooden cane. This is the cane for hiking. And it's very nice. It does have a Marine Corps emblem because I got it at the VA.
That's awesome.
And it's got this leather strap. I use it for my hikes because that like sometimes hurts my my stress or my microfractures worse. But this is my cosplay one.
Oh, it's got a that's cool. That's very cool. Doctor, Italian doctor, death plague doctor kind of thing.
Yeah, I got it for when I went to Comic-Con because I have a corset that I bought at Ren Fair that was very steampunk. So one of the days I did steampunk, and this photographer actually took professional photos of me there.
Huh, that's cool.
I did put them in the Goon chat, I believe it was. Yeah. Maybe something else.
Yeah.
But
literally the only reason why I bought this one is because I was at a Halloween store and I was like, this looks so cool, I can't pass it up. It's like
well that's where the steampunk one is. I got that at a Halloween store.
Yeah.
And Juan, thank you for coming in. Davy, thank you for coming in as well. Good to see y'all. But yeah, if you have questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, put them in the chat. We're going to acknowledge everything tonight. Everything.
Lana. Yo, BBC. Yes.
Or actually, BBC.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what do you think is your greatest your greatest moment being a friend?
I feel like my greatest moment of being somebody's friend is Cass had an issue. She had stuff going on and she didn't know where to turn to. She messaged me. We talked for like 2 hours.
Mm.
And I was just there. I was a sounding board. I gave her advice. I let her vent. And at the end, she goes, I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you being in my life. The fact that I get to say that you are my female best friend brings me so much joy. Because I know, no matter what, you would move heaven and hell for me. And like that moment just solidified like that I'm doing something right. And we've had this more than once. It's not like an everyday occurrence, but like once or twice a year something happens to one of us or both of us, and the first thing we do is we message each other and we're like, I need to talk. And we sit and we talk and we vent, whether it's in person or it's on text or Snapchat or something. And at the end, we're always just like, I'm so happy and proud that I get to call you my best friend. And after all of the shit I've been through with other people who I thought were my best friends, or I even thought were just friends, having to have such a healthy, amazing best friend relationship with her, to me is worth all of that.
And what would y'all consider the best unalive weapon? So this goes so many different fields. I need you to specify. Are we talking about just one person or multiple people?
Ooh, true.
Savage, same question. What would you consider your moment where you felt like you were the best of friend?
Oh yeah, that's something similar to Lana here. In high school, one of the two best friends I have, he just had his like breakup with his ex, and them two were pretty close, and it was something for him that he needed in his life because he was a loner. So it was kind of like he wanted or not only wanted but needed like an intimate like partner. And when they broke up, it was like anyone else when they break up in a relationship, it's the sad moment. But for him, it was pretty upsetting. So I noticed he was missing in class for like 2 periods. So I went to go find him. He was just sitting in the stairway. So I just hung out with him for about 30 minutes to an hour, and we talked it through. Brought him back into his class, but it was nice to be able to help him get through that moment.
Okay. Awesome. For myself, I don't have one. I try to help everybody. Whether it's go above and beyond something simple as a conversation. Because I can't pinpoint one that sticks out in my head. I've helped a lot of people through a lot of different things. Some trauma, some relationships, some just personal. And some things are so minuscule, and some things are huge. So I can't grade it. I can't scale it, put it on a scale or anything like that. So me myself, I don't have one. I'm not saying there might not be one day, but right now I don't really have one.
Yeah, you don't have one that like kind of stands out, I guess. That's what you're saying. Okay.
I have one for you.
What do you mean?
Well, a moment where I knew that you're a friend, that you're not like somebody that like an associate at Gus's. I have a moment where I'm like, this is somebody that could be a friend in my life and a good friend in my life. I don't know if you remember.
Okay, shoot.
When my grandpa was in hospice. Because you called me after that other call, and you just let me vent, you let me scream, and you stayed with me. And then when I had to come home from that time, and I had to sleep overnight in the hospital, or not the hospital, the fucking airport.
Mm-hmm.
You texted me, and you're like, "Hey, did you get back safe?" And I was like, "I'm still at the airport in Jersey," and you called me up right away. Well, I was sleeping on my luggage in the airport, and we just talked for a bit. But that was the moment I realized this is somebody I can call a friend. This is somebody that will be good in my life.
I remember that.
Yeah, now you do. That was a fun time.
Yeah. But yeah. And Davy said serial killer type. The thing about serial killers is they don't always use the same weapon. Usually it's similar weapons, but not the same. But for me, I'd honestly have to go with my skinning knife. It's been through a lot of things with me. I know what I'm doing. And not saying we see her killed before anybody gets that idea. Don't want that to go anywhere. Not trying to be one. But yeah, it'd be my skinning or boning knife. So yeah.
Knives are good.
That'd be my personal preference.
I also think when it comes to serial killers, because there's different categories. Are you talking about like the serial killers that have a religious motive? Are you talking about the serial killers that don't have a religious motive but want to do mass damage? Are you talking about the serial killers that have a personal vendetta?
I get that, yeah. And
Sorry.
speaking of that, though, where I live in Massachusetts, there's a good chance that there's one on the loose right now.
Yeah, there is one.
14 peoples have been unalived, and they've been all chopped up. But it's like along the coast of Massachusetts and Connecticut. So it's been with like in a month or two of each other, so it's interesting.
What do you mean by that? You say I'm such a big sweetie that he doesn't have a singular experience. He has a whole bucket full of them.
What does he mean by that?
Because we're talking about serial killers right now, and we were talking about friendship, like your biggest moment is friendship. I hope it's the friendship one. I really do.
I really do as well, because that'd be really weird.
Down the friendship level, you're talking about serial killers and you're putting it out on Twitch. That's all I'm saying.
There's a TV show on Netflix called You.
Okay, your friend.
I don't know. Yeah, friend modes is what I knew what Fluffy was talking about, but that made me think of there's a serial killer-esque like TV show called You, I think, on Netflix. And it's about this person that has like he hangs out with women, gets intimate with them, gets in a relationship with them, and he's a serial killer on the side. And sometimes he has to end doing said serial killer things to them because they either try to, throw him out and give him away to the police, or do whatever to piss him off. So it's an interesting concept. It's kind of like Dexter, but not as cool, I guess.
That just makes me
interested to check it out. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that just makes me think of the book I'm reading.
Murderers, love murderers, killing other.
If you guys don't know, Butcher and Blackbird are two serial killers who kill serial killers. It is a smut book, but it's very interesting thinking of it in that dynamic of like people that are serial killers and have the urge to kill, but they go after serial killers.
Yeah,
so it's like Dexter. That's cool.
Yeah, this sounds like Dexter. So Skypar Mark 19, shitty option. Just let you know right now, shitty option. Because you're sticking with that tells me that you have an attachment to it and it can come back to you on that one. So, and two, there's ballistics, everything like that. It's loud. You got to think about it. Like you got to think about, the concept of you're not trying to get caught. It's not the mindset of, oh, I don't care who hears me. Most of them do it because they want to do it, or because they have a drive to do it, or because the thing in the back of their mind is always like, I have to do this, and this is the way I gotta do it. I have to figure out, when are they by themselves, when are they more vulnerable, things like that.
It can be traced easily too.
Yeah, exactly. You can trace it, serial numbers, bullets, everything down to the grain. You can trace it. So, no,
gunpowder and all that. Yep.
What would you do if your best friend was a serial killer and you found out, but they didn't know you found out?
But they didn't know. Oh, yeah. That's so hard. Yes. That's a hard thing to. See, everyone wants to say, "Oh no, I'd do the honorable thing and give him up," or maybe they wouldn't. Maybe if they're so close to that friend that they didn't do it, but in the moment, you got to think about what kind. Like you said, there's different kinds of said serial killers. So, like, are they gonna murder you now because they know you know? You know, so it's kind of tossed up in the air kind of thing. Trying to imagine my friend being a serial killer.
Which best friend?
Well, that's the funny thing too, because like one of
I'm
them I
not
can kind of
saying.
see because
I'm
he
not
has a
saying.
smile. He has like a smile that does. It could be kind of creepy, so you're like, yeah, that's serial killer vibes.
I think if either one of my best friends became a serial killer or was a serial killer, and I found out and they didn't know, I would slightly probe them. Not enough to give it away that I know, but to try and get more information to see how they would feel if I knew.
Oh,
And then if they
maybe
would be okay with me knowing and I wouldn't get killed.
kind of like bring it up in a conversation, you know, be like, oh, if I
Yeah.
was like, if I was like a killer, I would kill these, etc., and then you see what their reaction would be, kind of thing.
Yeah. It also depends on like why are they doing it? Is there a mission? Like I would want more information before I decided on what I would do. But knowing my two best friends, if either of them did become a serial killer, there would be a justifiable reason.
Yeah, that's true, I guess, because it's like, again, it's like for me, like if Boss Lady was a serial killer, I wouldn't toss her in or
Yeah,
like
no.
bring her to place. I'd probably become her sidekick or whatever with her.
I'd be the alibi. I'd be the fucking alibi. No.
What's the two couples that
Bonnie and Clyde.
Bonnie and Clyde, there you go, yeah.
Yeah. Like honestly, it depends on like who are they going after, what are their reasons. Because I know my two best friends and I don't think I would turn them in. If it was somebody else on a different level, depending on if it wasn't a friend or associate, how well I know them, possibly. Then again, it all comes down to motive for me.
That's true.
Is it something that is a justifiable reason that this person should not be here? Is this person that they killed doing something that is harmful to other people or illegal?
Let's say the person isn't doing any of that.
It's an innocent person?
Yes. Yeah. Innocent as can be.
What they do. They had to have done something, because neither of my best friends would just kill somebody for no reason.
Nope. They innocent person.
Innocent person. Damn. I'd take the blame for him. I'd do the punishment.
Yeah, I think I would.
Fuck
either
no.
that.
Fuck no.
Because I can see one of my best friends doing that. I can't see the other. I don't
like
either. It depends. Am I the reason they get caught or not? Like if I don't say anything, are they not gonna get caught? Or if I don't say anything, are they still gonna get caught?
I don't know. That's the whole thing. It's just you found out about it and you looked at it like, this person isn't doing anything wrong. Like, you know, they're not, you know, smuggling, they're not doing anything wrong and society wise wrong. We're gonna say it that way. Not society wise wrong. They're not doing anything wrong.
You would turn a blind eye.
Who wind up with stitches and end up in ditches.
See, that is an interesting concept, because like if you know someone that's doing this and then you don't say anything, then you become an alias in that, but or accomplice in that. But it's like you're turning a blind eye because of your connection with that said person. Exactly. Like if it's a random person, then you're going to be like, yeah, I'm going to toss him in because it's the right thing to do. But it's harder to do the right thing when it's someone that you're intimately connected to,
especially when it's someone that's like really, really close to you, because it's
So Lon's going to get this. Learned this in the military. Deny. They don't care if they get it all right. Everything lines up right. Deny. That's it. Just deny. It's like, we saw you there. Nope. Not me.
Nope.
Wasn't me.
Did you know about this? Nope. Did not know a single thing. That's what I do. I wouldn't even acknowledge it. I would just see it. It was like, Okay, well, obviously I'm not a target because they had plenty of opportunity to do that to me. So
Facts.
I'm, it's not my problem. You know, hope everybody else is okay, and hopefully one day it stops. But I'm that person's like, nope, not my problem.
Got
It's
nothing to do
actually
with me.
They're not coming
it's
after me or
actually
my family, so no, don't have to worry about it.
it actually makes me think of I don't know if you ever watched Shameless.
No, I haven't.
And one of the brothers in the show, he joins the Marines, I believe, and he had like a crazy, like really girlfriend at the time. She was very clingy, and she would just follow him everywhere, and she'd be at the base but outside like the fence perimeter, and she'd just be like cheering him all the time, to the point that one of the Marines was like, "Don't worry, I got rid of her," in quotations. And then he's like, "What do you mean got rid of her?" He's like, "Don't worry about it, just deny."
Yeah,
It's like, oh
that's
god.
how it is. Like we get told to pick something, and they're like, "Hey, what happened to this? We don't know.
Nothing at
How'd
all.
you get that? I don't know." He said,
Nothing about nobody doing nothing.
"Exactly, exactly." So I'm big on self-preservation. Um, you know, uh, lately it's been at a confusing level, but yeah, I'm still big on self-preservation because if I'm not the target or my loved ones aren't the target,
Why would I make myself a target?
technically the world's overpopulated. Technically, just saying.
Facts.
That's all I gotta
Facts.
say. I'm not saying nothing else about it. But let's see here. For YouTube, ask some questions. Ask some questions. Throw yourself out there. Let's see where we go.
Sorry, but Bill Nye. Okay, Thanos.
Look. All I'm saying is he technically was right.
Oh god.
I mean, I keep
Technically, he was.
asking my mom if we can take like half of the population, put them on a spaceship, and send them to Mars or the sun, and she keeps telling me no.
So another planet's fine. I wouldn't just add a randomness of it, because if it's random, you can have a good chance of leaving the crappy people behind or alive. So it's like,
Oh no, it's not. It's not going to be random. It's going to be the stupid people.
No,
So the
no,
stupid
because
people.
stupidity can be measured by all things because we've all done something stupid in our lives, all of us. So no, we can't do stupidity. So you
has
gotta
to be
go.
random.
It's gotta be
No
random.
common
It has to be
sense.
random.
Can I go with no common sense?
We've all been there. If you say you
I don't
haven't,
know.
I have proof.
I don't
So
know.
again,
Today, there's a lot of stupid people out there. I've seen
there
some
are.
That's
wild,
why I'm
There are.
saying
stupid.
that.
I'm not saying like, uneducated and being stupid is two different things.
75% of the stupid people.
No, I
We
like
can
random.
Oh
keep
my bear.
25%.
When I shit you not, I was at a park a couple years ago, and a kid came up to me and my friend, all right, and they brought up a quarter, a dime,
Okay.
2 pennies. Now,
Okay.
how much is that?
A quarter, a dime, and 2 pennies.
37 cents.
37.
Yeah.
Okay. He didn't know that. Like, even when he stared at it, he just asked. He's like, "How much is this?" This is a 17-year-old kid.
Wait,
He like
17?
yes. He like showed it to us, and we're like, that's 37 cents, okay. And then he's like, "Is that enough to buy a drink?" And I was I walked away. I was like, okay, my faith in future generations is just getting lower and lower, because I keep seeing like things that at should be common sense at certain age brackets. I can understand if like a 8-year-old doesn't get that, even though they maybe not, but I can understand it, at least an 8-year-old. But if you're 17, you don't know that math. That's
So,
scary.
so I'm going to say this. It's the education system failing.
Yeah,
Honestly,
that's
Definitely.
it's the
Oh,
education
yeah.
system failing, and because, like I said, when I was with my ex, kids she had the kids, and I do math with them, and I taught them how I learned to do math.
They fucking changed it. What the fuck?
Yeah, they changed it. It's Common Core math now. And I looked at them. I was like,
Why?
"Do you have to show your work for this?" And they're like, "No." I was like, "Do it the way you know. Do it the way you know. Don't try to make sense of that. Don't try to make sense of that at all. Because honestly, when you get out of high school, college is aren't doing Common Core math, not yet. So yeah, so they're gonna have to do it the way that I learned it. And they're like, okay, cool. And they say, oh, I made 100. Awesome. And then the teacher's like, oh, so we're teaching good? And she looks at us like, no, my dad taught me how to do this, and walked away. I was like, and I was like, yep.
Facts. Yeah, my sister was talking about, because she's in high school, and she was talking about how they changed how they have to do math, and I'm like, fucking stupid. I am so glad you don't ask me for help. That is the stupidest fucking thing.
Yeah, I only remember one way. I'm pretty good at math when it comes to that. Like up until like I could do some calculus. I never really learned calculus, so it's obviously a mystery to me. But any other math, I was in like pre-algebra, and they were like, "Why are you in this class?" I was like, "I don't know. I just got put in the class." So they took me out of pre-algebra, put me into geometry and algebra 2 all at once in 1 year, like half a semester or half a year basically for me. So it was 2 semesters. So I did both of my classes in 1 year because I was just like, I'm decent at or good at math. Where it's like English, not so much. Like you ask me to spell a word, I'm gonna go blank for whatever reason. My mind can't process words. I can say the word, but I'm not gonna know how to spell it.
I get that.
Since we're talking about school, what was everybody's favorite subject in school?
I had multiple. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, for learning aspects, I like history. I like to know the story of the planet itself, not just like human history, but like the evolution of human beings and the planet in general. So I like to see that aspect of things, and that's why I like games like Assassin's Creed, because it kind of is loosely based on history, not accurately, but it still has the lunchtime. But in terms of that, it was that I liked history the most. But there was one class I had that was it was a study hall for us. We had like one period that was a study hall, and the reason why I liked it is because the teacher we had, I shit you not, he looked like Joseph Stalin. So it was interesting to be talking to a dude that's teaching history all the time and looks like Joseph Stalin. And he's a big dude too, but he was like the funniest guy, so everyone would always go to talk to and hang out with him. So it was always cool to hang out with him. So that was my class.
Nice.
For me, it was history, AP biology, and English.
Okay.
Because I love reading. I love reading. I love history in general. I love all aspects of history. And science kind of made sense to me in my brain, and I just love how it flowed. I love how creating something from nothing, not really nothing, but creating something from these random items made something spectacular. So
yeah. In science, it's energy is never destroyed or created. It's always there. Basically, it's always being manipulated.
It's an equal exchange, and I like that. What about you?
So I loved history. I love learning cultures. I love learning the history of other places. And that's always been a thing for me. I love languages. I love learning all of that. It's always fascinated me. I was always good at math and physics. That was just something, it came naturally. Didn't really love it, but it was just something that I was good at. I had a mythology class one semester, and that was a lot of fun. Because again, to me, it's history. It's a different history because it's fables and lore, but it is a history of a culture. Because they did believe in those things. And I did cosmetology in high school, so that was a lot of fun for me because for my last 3 years of high school, I spent half of the year playing with hair and makeup and learning things.
Savage, your turn.
Question?
Yeah.
It depends. It depends on the school. If they still do trade classes.
Public school here still does it.
Yeah, not ours in Mass. At least I haven't seen it.
So you can still do VOTech, which is where you can learn trade, but like woodshop, art class, those classes in my school, they're getting rid of.
Mm.
They got rid of our library. We don't have a library in high
Okay.
school anymore, so
That's
Wait,
interesting.
how do you not have a fucking library in high school?
I don't know. My sister told me that they got rid of it. Is now a study hall with computers and desks, and that's
Probably
it.
got rid of the books and just
All
kept the
of the books are
computers.
gone.
I don't
Which
like
is a
that.
bad idea. Yeah,
I don't
I
like
don't
that at
either.
all.
you need a library. You need books to not only for education, but also it's a good backup for historic documents. So if like you have a global shutdown of the internet or electronics, now there goes all your history. You need backups, the books and store it for future generations just in case.
I
Even
agree.
just to have it.
They're starting to get rid of the books in the high school as well because everybody has a Chromebook.
Yeah, it's
See,
just
I didn't like that.
yeah.
Like when I was dealing with the kids, everything like that, they're like, "Oh, we have laptops with this." Why?
The
I
only
used to carry
laptop
all my books.
The only laptop we ever used were the ones in the cart that were locked up that you had to unplug, you take it to your desk, you do your assignment or whatever the fuck it was you had to do.
You turn it back in.
You turn it back in and you plug it back in. And it wasn't those nice laptop nowadays. Those were the old ones that were the chunky ones.
Yep.
Okay. In terms of questions though, what time frame would you, since we were talking about history so much, what time frame would you like to either witness or like live in? It can still be even modern times, but yeah.
For me, I wouldn't want to live in any other time. Not honestly, don't want to.
Okay.
Witness, honestly, the rise of the Greek Empire, the
Greek,
first go
okay.
round.
It's a good one.
Yeah. I feel like there's too many to choose from. Because what I like is it bounces a lot. Depending
Yeah.
on like what my mood and what I'm feeling, depends on what I'm watching or what I'm researching. I actually have my dad to thank for getting me into that because he watches those types of videos of like history of like technologies and sodas and civilizations. I would have loved to see Pompeii before it got destroyed. I think it would have been amazing to see the Mayans when they were still around and how their culture is. And like if I could choose, I would want to witness something, and I think everything, because that's how fascinated I am with it, because it's so expansive. And I think I know that like we can read about it, but like to actually physically be able to just, even if it's for like a minute or like 5 minutes, any like different times, I think I get so much joy out of that.
Yeah, there's multiple time frames I'd love to witness. I'm a big like I want to see like the history, or not even, well, the kind of solve certain questions that we haven't answered about history, like the Illuminati, the Freemasons kind of thing. What were they really like doing with all that stuff that they were doing, right? It's just all theories and conspiracies about what they were actually doing. So I'd love to just like witness that, or like, stuff like Atlantis, like was City of Atlantis an actual thing?
Yes.
So I'm a big conspiracy theorist, like the unknown. Like I would love if I could make a time machine and it's just like a little, what was the movie called? He actually had a time machine, but it was like a bubble around him.
I know what you're talking about. I can't remember the movie.
But yeah, he basically can sit in it and it would just like everything around him would change, and then he can witness time unless you got out of the pod, and it would be interacts with that time. But that would be cool to do, because then you can like be like a historian, but like firsthand experience, so you'd be able to go back in time and you're like, oh, this is the answer to that. Or even like Jack the Ripper, for example, you'd be able to solve that kind of thing,
Oh, I would love that.
But it's I would love to be able to go back and just see who he actually was.
Yeah.
Not just when he was Jack the Ripper, but like
before
how he was in society by himself. Like before that, was he a married person? Did he have kids?
Did he have a normal childhood? Like how did he grow up?
One of the newer theories is that he actually came to America, like just before he well, they believed before he died that he moved to America to escape being captured because he did his things in London, and then he was like, "Well, I kind of need to leave, so see you later." Traveled to America on ship, and then
Possible.
supposedly unalived someone here. But if I had to like choose a time frame to live in, honestly, it'd be with my ancestors. It'd be cool to see like how not only how Native Americans survived on the lands because they were true hunter gatherers. You know, they lived a simple life. They basically hunted during the day. The men went out and hunted food. The women went out and got like the berries and stuff. Then they, when they came back, they did whatever the family things did during the day. It was a simple life for most cases. I will say, it was a very violent lifestyle too, because there was also tribal warfare going on. They were very vicious against each other. Sometimes, and then other times they were very, you stay over there, I stay over here. It was much like, the 50 states where it's like they had lines and saying the Saxons over here, the Cheyenne over here, the Apache over here, the Navajo, etc., etc. But if I had to, it'd be cool to like kind of live that life for a little bit to not only like experience it, but also like learn the skills. Because a lot of those skills are kind of lost on modern people. Hunting, just a simple thing of like hunting deer. Yeah, some people are like, yeah, I'm gonna go hunt a deer. They pull out like, a rifle. They go out for, 6 a.m. or whatever, and then they wait for the deer to show up, and they might get it, they might not get it, but it's completely different from today than it was 200, 300 years ago.
I know what we're going to do. You want to do that. You want to do that lifestyle, right?
Mm,
I like to do that.
nice.
I like to go up. I do it in the mountains, though. It's more secluded. To me, it's more at peace. I hunt, I track, fish, everything like that. I go up there, maybe a day's worth of food, enough food for my dog, and for like a week or so, and go up there and you eat what you catch. You know,
Yeah,
It's
because
a
you gotta
good skill
skin
to
it
have.
and all that.
Yeah, skinning everything. It's a relieving feeling, and it's freeing. And yeah, it goes back to more primal instincts, but it's a great feeling to have because
Mm,
you feel rewarded because you like, I didn't go to bed hungry.
yeah,
It's a great thing.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll plan
It
out a trip and get you to come up or anything like that, and we'll do it.
sounds pretty cool. It does.
You brought up a great aspect that I didn't even think of, but like knowing like where my ancestors are from and like being able to physically like see how each line that connects to form me, how they lived. Because I have a lot of Scottish in me, and Cameron is a clan. It is a Scottish clan. So maybe even
Mm,
seeing how, the beginning days of the clan were formed would be really cool.
Yeah.
that would be, yeah.
Let's see here. Anybody in the chat have anything to say? Questions, anything like that? Go for it, man. We're here. Might as well ask while you can. It's history, blah blah blah.
Yeah, it's interesting because
I
go ahead.
I understand it's harder to nowadays, but there's more things to hunt than deer.
That's true.
There's a
Yeah.
lot more things to hunt than deer
Oh yeah.
that you don't need a regulation for.
Yeah,
So
my friend Cass, her boyfriend, he does hunting, but he doesn't for deer or bear. He does small game wildlife.
yeah,
Rabbits and such. Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, rabbits, squirrels, and then there's like I said, yeah, I understand you gotta get a fishing license in most places. That's fucking easy. That's
It's like
simple.
$5.
Yeah, it's cheap, easy. Usually you
Yeah.
can get them the same day. So
Some of the laws make sense because the life population of certain animals is decreasing, so they have to kind of regulate it so they don't just wipe them out of existence. Other ones is a little ridiculous, but it's kind of like an example, the wolf. The wolves in America were wiped out
yep,
in the early history of America,
yep,
and for good reason. There was some aspects they shouldn't have gotten rid of all of them, but there was too many of them at the time, and they were taking out not only people but also like their household pets, so dogs and cats and their livestock, their chickens, their cows, etc. and we only recently started bringing them back into America wildlife from Canada. The wolves
Canada
from
airdropped them.
yeah, but they
I
did it.
remember reading that, and I loved
Yeah,
it.
but at the same time, they did it at a at an absurd number of them, so it was kind of almost overwhelming certain lands that were
Mhm.
scarce with like certain aspects of like deer or foxes or whatever.
I think it was a national park that they
Mm.
airdropped them in. From what I remember reading, I could be wrong, but I believe it was a national park that they had airdropped them into. Trying to like make sure that they don't get hunted and
Yeah.
are somewhat protected while the population gets rebuilt.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. But yeah, it's great having y'all here. It's a good
It's been
time.
fun.
It's a good time. We're gonna go ahead and raid out, and I don't know who to raid out to. Actually, I know who to raid out to. Let's see here, because she stopped by and she had a conversation with us.
Oh, nice.
So we're gonna raid out to Fable
Oh.
Cowgirl. She's over there playing Repo, and it's not a bad time. But Alia, thank you for joining us tonight. It's a great time. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on TikTok. Follow us on Instagram. You know, like, comment, subscribe, all that good jazz. You know, have a good time. And if you need anything, don't be afraid to reach out to people that that care about you.